There is reason for optimism when talking about the Atlanta Braves, and it stems from the fact that they're finally stringing together some wins, even if the offense has still been a little hot and cold, especially the last couple of days. But we just talked about Spencer Schwellenbach, fantastic second start in a row. He could be the fifth starter of the future, and maybe even better than that when we're talking about years down the road. But then there's this guy, Ian Anderson, throws his first live game for the Florida Complex League, and he looked, I think, the most important thing, right? The stat line's unbelievable. 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. It's almost unfair that he's playing with basically kids that should still be in high school or maybe a little bit older than that. But the stuff, 93, 95 with his fastball, 88 with the changeup, that's exactly where he was pre-injury. And for a guy making his first start back in live action, to see him there from a velocity standpoint, obviously we couldn't watch it live. Like I wasn't there live, but seeing that he's there, from a velocity standpoint, and I heard his control looked good. Very, very promising stuff, for a first live game back after basically, 18 months off, 16 months off, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't really care about the talent discrepancy, like, scrubs, young kids. It doesn't matter when you're talking about a guy who hadn't played a live game in 18 months and he goes out there and he's sitting. That is the most important thing. He looks the part. He's doing exactly what he was doing pre-injury that made him such a, prominent name in Atlanta's organization. We were talking about this guy as one of the staples of this rotation for years to come years ago. And, it's super encouraging to see all that stuff. And right now, everything's gravy. I mean, I'm a little bit at a loss for words. I was pretty optimistic yesterday about it, just thinking that it was going to work out for him because I do like him. And I do think, when you're, you're a top 5 pick coming out of the draft, I mean, you're that guy. And so I still think he can be that guy, whether it's frontline or not, probably not. But contributing at the major league level is still within the realm of possibilities. The kid's 26 years old, highly touted guy coming out of the draft. Unbelievable stuff. I'm super excited to see what's next for him.
Yeah, I mean, contributing at the major league level might not be in the cards this year. It could be. Maybe it's out of the bullpen or something, as we discussed. But when you got guys like Schwellenbach pitching well and A.J. Smith-Shawver coming back, there's not a lot of room. The Braves don't necessarily need him to be back in the rotation, but a bullpen stint for Ian Anderson, especially this year, could very well be in the cards. I mean, this is a guy that, when you think about it, we talked about it yesterday, but he was a first and second time through the order guy. First time through the order, he was almost unhittable. So when you're thinking about a bullpen guy, that's all you need. You just need, these guys are going to be seeing you first. That fastball changeup combination is elite. It's one of the best fastball changeup combinations in baseball and has been that way his entire career. Where he's gotten into trouble in the past is he doesn't really have a third offering. So once they see both of those pitches enough, it becomes sort of an issue. But that's not a problem when you're coming out of the bullpen. A lot of bullpen guys are just 2-pitch guys.
Listen, the Braves pitching at all levels is going really, really well right now. From the frontline guys, Chris Sale, Max Fried, Ronaldo Lopez, obviously all, Cy Young candidates at this point, Charlie Morton, seemingly aging like a fine wine. We talked about Spencer Schwellenbach. Everything is going good. AJ, we all think that, me and Chase think that Bryce Elder can still contribute at the major league level. Everything is going good right now. And Ian Anderson. So we're saying, it might not be a need right now. But think back a couple months ago. This was not the case. Pitching is incredibly volatile. Injuries are more frequent than ever in today's game with the velocity and whatever, the pitch clock, it doesn't matter. Injuries are happening. So this can turn on its head quickly. The Braves might need Ian Anderson. Obviously, it would be foolish to go into the season thinking we are going to need Ian Anderson, but things can change. There's a lot of baseball left, and we have guys in Ronaldo Lopez and Chris Sale in terms of longevity. We're not quite sure. We are doing the 6-man rotation, I think, to limit that, injury risk or whatever. We may see Ian Anderson in Atlanta at a time where we're like, oh, damn, we didn't even think we might need Ian Anderson. I mean, to begin the season, we didn't think Spencer Schwellenbach was going to be a need or be the guy out of A.J. Smith, Shawver, Urson Waldrop, and Bryce Elder to take that fifth spot. So things can change on a dime. And right now, everything is going good in terms of Braves pitching. But that's not to say down the road we might see Ian Anderson in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you still got 4 months left in
Yeah.
the season. I mean, I would almost venture to go out and say, and obviously I don't want to say this because I don't want to wish things into existence, but there's probably going to be at least a couple of arms
You're acknowledging
that go on a 10-day
the
IL
elephant in
stint.
the
Like,
room.
obviously, hopefully it's nothing season ending or something super serious, but
Yeah.
to say that one of these guys won't go on the IL, it's pretty foolish. I mean, injuries happen to starting pitchers almost like yearly. It's almost
Right.
like a yearly occasion for most guys. So yeah, there's definitely going to be opportunities. And listen, let's say Ian Anderson does come out there and let's say he goes up to High A Rome and makes a start and he looks great. And he quickly, over the next month, he's up there in Gwinnett and he's looking better than he was pre-injury, kind of like the old version of Ian Anderson. Well, that postseason Ian Anderson is a different beast, and that's something that we all remember very fondly, and we all want him to get back to. And if you're talking about October, whether it's out of the bullpen or making a start as a 4-starter, like maybe Charlie Morton starts struggling, H starts catching up to him later in the season, whatever it is, I mean, I would feel very confident because I've watched this guy go out there and shove 1.26 ERA. I have that number ingrained into my head. I didn't prepare for this segment. 1.26 ERA over 8 postseason starts. He's one of the best postseason pitchers. So you got a guy that isn't afraid of the moment and has done it time and time again. Even when Ian Anderson, 2021, he didn't have the best year. He wasn't the best pitcher in baseball. He wasn't a Cy Young guy. He wasn't a frontline guy. He was like a 4 ERA guy. But when push came to shove, come the postseason, that guy was an absolute superstar. So you kind of have this wild card in your back pocket that you might be able to pull. Oh, flash, you remember this guy? Bang. Shut out 5 innings in a playoff game. So there is reason to be excited, reason to be optimistic, especially it's just the first start. We're not crazy lunatics here, but if he keeps looking good at every single level and all of a sudden you got this ace in your back pocket that you can throw down, a draw 4 and Uno, whatever the hell you want to call it. And listen, it's reason to be excited. Coming up after the break, we're going to get into Hawks talk. We are a week away from the NBA draft, and there are a ton of rumors. We're going to try to sift through what's true and what is not.